Alright, today I finally have Nekusar ready to show you. I am not sure if it's a good build. Should be funny. Plan to take it to the Thursday night pub night in 2 days and see how it works. Let's put this here. But before I do, what I need to do is take a card out of Caravec to complete the deck. I was thinking about it for a while, how I should best do this. So, Exquisite Blood. My LGS doesn't have any. I can't get any in time from Medcard Market in order to have a copy for Nekusar. I don't like taking cards out of decks and just borrowing them. So what I'm going to do is take Exquisite Blood out of Caravec. It's great in Caravec though, because whenever an opponent plays a spell, he deals damage to target creature or player equal to that spell's CMC. So if I hit a player, I gain that much life. What I'm thinking is I'll take out Exquisite Blood, I'll give it to Nekusar, and in exchange I'll give Caravec this Mask of Griselbrand that I got in a trade, and I just couldn't figure out what to do with. So I'll put it in Caravec. He has a number of creatures that should be attacking, that don't just stand there and do nothing. He himself. So the lifelink part would be good for him. So whenever if he's equipped with it, whenever whenever he deals damage, I will gain life because he has lifelink. Fucking thick tongue. Let me take a sip of tea. Maybe that'll help. Alright, so let's take a quick look at the cards that, well, all creatures can attack, but which ones am I going to want to attack with, equipped with the Mask of Griselbrand? Which ones are going to be the most... Well, shit, there's this guy. I mean, I can give him the mask and sacrifice him, destroy a non-basic land, and if I'm not counting the initial casting cost, I'm just counting the equip cost, I've paid 3 to draw 2 cards and blow up a land, in addition to his casting cost. Okay, maybe that's not so great. Massacre Worm? Yeah, flying lifelinking Massacre Worm, that could be pretty goddamn good. If it dies, I gain 6 cards by paying 6 life. Well, hopefully I have the life to pay. I've got other incremental ways to gain life in this deck. Ooh. If he has the mask, so whenever another creature comes into play, he deals damage. And if he has the mask, flying and lifelink, maybe the mask is a pretty good idea after all. Maybe I wasn't smoking crack when I thought about it. Grave Titan. Flying lifelink death touch 6/6. This could be funny. Burnished Heart. Same thing as the Fulminator Mage, except I'd be spending 6 because I'd spend 3 to sacrifice it after spending 3 to equip it, go get 2 lands, and draw 2 cards. Not the most efficient way to go about it. What I should probably do is put a Brass Squire in this deck. I have Brass Squire in Sig. Brass Squire is a 3 mana artifact creature. I believe he's a 1/2, and you just tap him and slap an equipment onto a creature. He lets you equip for free at instant speed by tapping him. Ooh, Kokusho. So if Kokusho had lifelink in addition to flying, just attack with it with no other thoughts, just send her out to smash. And when she dies, I lose 5, but I'm going to gain at least 5. This could be really interesting. Now I want to take to Caravec to the pub night to see how this works. To see if this mask actually does the shit I'm thinking. Wow. She's going commander. Nah. So there's not a whole lot of... Well, this guy could be good. And when he's in play, creatures that counters on cannot attack or block. So he would be a 3/3 flying. Well, he's already flying. Lifelinker. Zaudun, the one-eyed. Oh, he has horsemanship. So he can't block. So flying and horsemanship. Block this, bitches! Gold pen dragon? Oh, yeah. Give it flying, haste, lifelink. When it dies, draw 4. Okay. Okay, this is looking better. This is looking pretty damn good. So you can see the way I built Karabek. He doesn't have a lot of attacking creatures. Yes, all creatures can attack, I already said that. But he does not have a lot of creatures that I have in the deck to attack with. That is their express reason for inclusion. So Masco Bristlebrand. Alright, so that could be funny. So Karabek got a new card. Nekusar has this. And let me show you Nekusar. Let's hurry up and get to it because you're probably getting kind of anxious. So Nekusar, the Mind Razor. So 2 black, blue, red for a 2/4 zombie wizard. Beginning of each player's draw step, their player draws an additional card. Whenever an opponent draws a card, Nekusar, the Mind Razor, pokes them for 1 point per card. I had Nekusar before, years ago, and the way I built it, it became unplayable because I had a lot of enchantments that did nothing other than force people to draw cards. I had just random bullshit, force people. And so what happened is because I didn't have a lot of ways to defend myself, I didn't have a lot of protection, I just had these random enchantments. My opponents were all drawing, 4-man game. If everybody's drawing just 1 extra card a turn, just 1. That's 6 cards, 2 per player, 2 per opponent, that can be used against me. So they started drawing into their answers faster. They started drawing into ways to deal with Nekusar faster. I was just like, fuck me, this sucks. And I took them apart because it became not unplayable, but just I couldn't get anywhere. I couldn't get any traction. But I think I figured it out. I hope I figured it out. Alright, let's see if I figured it out. Let's look at this mana base. Desolate House. Yeah, I can get 1 or 1 blue-red, tap, draw a card, discard a card. Once again, I'm missing the Bloodstained Mire for Nekusar. Once I acquire Bloodstained Mire, I'll take that out probably. That's just kind of a filler. Okay, I've got these 3. Yeah, these are the check lands. Do you have a land, a swamp or mountain, island or mountain, island or swamp? If you do, these come into play untapped. If you don't, they come into play tapped. Yeah, everybody knows about those. Pain lands. I've got the 3 pain. Now, normally I like all the pain lands to be from the same era. So, Siobhan Reef and Underground River are from the same era. The border is basically the same. Sulphur Springs. I saw this for cheap at my LGS, and I thought that's kind of an interesting take on the old Sulphur Springs. The Filfoglio version has this demon just chilling in this vat of tar, hanging out in the hot tub, and this is like he's been there too long and he cooked himself. I'm not sure if that's the point or not, but it's kind of funny. All right, so there's 3 pain lands. There's these 3. I don't know what we're calling these. I can't remember. So unless I have delay lands, retard lands, who knows. So unless I have 2 or more basic lands, these come into play tapped. But they're searchable. Searchable with the fetch land. Crumbling Necropolis. That's really horrific. Can you see the body hanging from that one spire? That one broken balcony? It's like half eaten. Yeah. Okay, I only have 2 of the 3 fetch lands I want, but one of them is signed in Portuguese. Delta Preludio. Sculling Turn, yep. Shockland. Shockland with the Pro Tour stamp from when they used to actually support the players and when they used to support promotional play in order to give players something to reach for, in order for them to have some kind of prize structure, and players would grind on it and win prizes and travel the world going to events, and the Wizards kind of shit all over that. Watergrave. Minamo. School at Water's Edge. Though untap target legendary permanent. It's just kind of in here. I don't have a lot of legendary permanents that I would be tapping, but I like it. It's just pretty. Command Tower. Cabal Coffers. Now if this is legendary, that would be pretty damn cool, but it's not. Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. Vora Stronghold. Okay, I can untap this and put another creature back on top of my library from my graveyard. Or this, I can untap it and put another artifact from my graveyard on top of my library, thereby choking it out for 2. Command Beacon. Sack Command Beacon. Put Nekusar into your hand from the command zone if the commander tax is too high. This damn commander tax is too high! Riptide Laboratory. Return target wizard you control to its owner's hand. Yep, you want to kill Nekusar? I don't feel like paying more commander tax. I'm just going to bounce his ass. And although, in a way, so I spend 2 to activate the Riptide Laboratory. His commander tax is 2, so it would be the first time he'd be getting killed. I am essentially still paying the commander tax. I'm just paying it up front to put him in my hand, so I can recast him for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 swamps from Onslaught. They look kind of bleak, kind of like some kind of forgotten jungle. I could see Nekusar hanging out in a place like that, can't you? And then I have these islands from Onslaught. Can't really see Nekusar hanging out in a place like this, but maybe he does. And then I have these mountains from Ice Age because I don't have any. What did I do with those? I can't remember if I do not have any Onslaught mountains or if I just put them into another deck. I think they're already in another deck. Anyway, I like these Ice Age ones. I like Tom Wanderstrand's art. It looks like a cold October day. It's a day where fall is definitely well into swing, but winter hasn't really arrived. But it's probably sunny. You know, the sun is breaking through the clouds a little bit, but it's cold. Gentle breeze. Anyway, that's what I think when I see the card. I like it. Okay, Phyrexian Crawler. Psychosis Crawler. 5 for a star bastard. Okay, this bastard, his power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand. Maybe I should put a Reliquary Tower in this deck after all. I didn't put one in there. Didn't really have a reason not to, I just didn't do it. Maybe I should. I'll think about it later. So, his power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in my hand, and whenever I draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. He helps me draw cards. And hurts people. He helps me draw cards and hurts people too. Yay! Silent Arbiter. This is by my friend Ren. So another friend of mine had tried to alter this Silent Arbiter as a project, and he had bollocksed it pretty good. He had really screwed it up. So I got the card off him for nothing. I think he just gave it to me. He's like, here, I'm sick of looking at this. I screwed it up pretty bad. And I gave it to Ren, and he saved it. He made it look cool. So this is the Silent Arbiter. So no more than 1 creature can attack each combat, and no more than 1 creature may block each combat. Because this build of Nekusar is light on creatures. Oh my god, is it light on creatures. I think it's my lightest deck out of all of them. I might not be able to defend myself, there's so few, but let's find out. Solemn Simulacrum. Yeah, when he comes to play, go find a land, put it in play tab. Basic land, put it in play tab. When he dies, draw a card. Yeah. Basilisk Scholar. 1. Equip. 2. Equip creature has Death Touch and Lifelink. So if he has Lifelink, whenever an opponent draws a card, I gain 1 life per card. But that's not really... This isn't here for him. This is here for somebody else. Somebody else should be getting the collar. Somebody that flies. Darksteel Plate. Darksteel Plate is indestructible. Nekusar. Equipped is indestructible. Equip 2. Because people want to kill him. People... Just leave him in play and just draw cards and be happy and quit killing him. What's wrong with you guys? Jesus Christ. That's the other problem, is they kept killing Nekusar. Man. So I had all these enchantments. I'm helping them draw cards and doing them a favor. And I just want to hurt them a little bit for doing them the favor of letting them draw cards. And they kill Nekusar and draw answers to everything else I'm doing. It's really... It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair at all. Bastards. Lightning Greaves. 2. Creature has Haste and Shroud. Equip 0. Memory Jar. This is actually in so this is the second card I've taken away from Kervik to give to Nekusar. Because Kervik doesn't need it as badly. Kervik still has Goblin Welder. So it's really good in Kervik when I get it. But it's going to be better in Nekusar because everybody's going to draw cards, and if he's in play, everybody's going to get hurt except me. Sack Memory Jar. Each player exiles all cards from their hand and draws 7 new cards. At the beginning of the next end step, each player throws those cards away and picks up the shit they had in the first place. Let's keep going. Nihil Spell Bomb, because sometimes I need to exile somebody's graveyard. And I don't want Bajuka Bog because it's just coming to play. And a lot of times I need the land. I had the Bog. I play it because I need the land. And I have to exile somebody's graveyard. But I don't want to. There's nothing interesting. I don't care about it. So, no Bog. And if I spend a black when I exile somebody's graveyard, I draw a card. And the next card in play, I get to hurt somebody. No, not Nekusar. Somebody else. Somebody else, you'll see. Scroll Rack. Yeah, if my hand's full of land and I can't play anymore, I'm choked because I already played 1. Scroll Rack them away. 1 tap, choose any number of cards in your hand, set them aside. Pull an equal number of cards from the top of your library. Then put the cards you set aside this way, the original cards, back it up in any order. Neat. Swiftfoot Boots. Just like Lightning Greaves, except hexproof, not shroud, and it costs 1 more to equip. Teferi's Puzzle Box. Oh yes. During each player's draw phase, they count the number of cards in their hand, put them on the bottom of the library, and then draw that number card. So they're going to be drawing a lot of cards per turn, but they're not going to be keeping a lot of cards per turn. They'll get to see a lot of cards. Sometimes that helps. Sometimes it's nice. You're looking at your hand. Man, I don't have anything that helps. I have a bunch of crap. And then I play this. And then you get to go, whoop, draw new cards. And you're like, wow, I get to play something. So, okay, these are the mana rocks. This is the mana rock suite. So he's got 7 mana rocks because it's black, blue, red. Not a whole lot of land ramp in those colors. Soul Ring. Arcane Signet, Talisman of Creativity, Talisman of Dominance. I don't have an extra Talisman of Indulgence, and my old guest doesn't have any for me to trade into. So I'm missing a Talisman, which is kind of funny because I'm missing the black-red Talisman, and I'm missing the black-red fetch land. Chromatic Lantern. Land control of add 1 mana of any color, and you can tap it for 1 mana of any color. I haven't played with these in a long time. For the longest time, I thought they're not worth the cost, they're not worth the investment, because they cost 4. Some asshole blows it up before you can use it effectively. So you're running out turn 4. You don't have that much colored mana available. So yes, you can add 3 colorless mana, but typically the other things in your hand cost colored mana plus the colorless. And if you don't have the colored mana anymore because you spent it on this and then somebody blows it up, which was happening a lot in the games I used to play, the games that convinced me this is not a good card to play because it's too much of a, not really a risk, it's just you don't get anything out of it. But I've realized the group I play with is far, far different in many ways. So I know they're playing at a lower level. They don't destroy things as quickly or as often as the group I used to play with years ago. So I'm going to try it out. Thorian Dynamo. Gilded Lotus. And what should have clued me in to the fact that Thorian Dynamo is actually playable now in this group is that I played Gilded Lotuses before in different decks, and they stick around, and I get to use them. So Thorian Dynamo should be the same. Ashok Dreamrenderer. Okay, my opponents can't search the libraries. And target player puts the top 4 cards of the library into the graveyard, and then exile each opponent's graveyard. I'm actually thinking this would be good for Muldrotha because I can target myself. I never fully realized that I could target myself. So with Muldrotha, I can put the top 4 cards of my library into my graveyard, thereby feeding into my second hand, which is my graveyard, and then exiling everybody's graveyards at the same time. So something to think about. Haven't Go Lich. 5 for 4/4 Zombie Wizard. For 1 mana, I may cast target creature card from graveyard this turn. Now, keep in mind, he doesn't say you can spend mana of any color, because he's from Dark Ascension and they weren't really doing that. Nowadays, it's all, you can spend mana of any color to do this. Well, fuck, that's just too easy. That doesn't take any tension out of it. This guy has tension because I can only cast artifact, black, blue, red, or some combination of those creatures. So if somebody's playing a green deck, unless they have artifact creatures, I can't get any of them because I can't make with Nekusar the green mana. Same with white. If somebody has white, I can't get those creatures. So it makes it more interesting to me when the commander's color restrictions actually feed into the card. By saying, you can spend mana or mana of any color, that takes away the color restriction. That just bleeds the lines of commander. It's bullshit. Jor the Gitu. She used to be her own deck too. So Nekusar used to be his own deck and I rebuilt him. Jor used to be her own deck and I took her apart because even in my new group, can't really play her. I wouldn't run her out unless I have 2 mana to at least put something into the time stream. So let's say turn 1, land, turn 2, mana rock, turn 3, another land. So on turn 3 I've got 4 mana because I've got 3 in the mana rock. But if I run her out, she's only a 2/2. And if anybody has any kill anything and they've ever seen this deck work, they're going to kill her. She is a priority target because of the things she can do. So I can't run her out until I have 5 mana. So I can run her out and somebody says, okay, Pat to exile. Swords, Plowshares, Lightning Bolt. Anything that gets her off the board because we know what you're going to do. I can spend the 2 and put something in time stream and at least get something out of it. But then of course she goes cost 5 because she goes back in the command zone. And I'm waiting 4 turns for something to happen. I'm waiting 4 turns to get whatever I put in the time zone. And keep in mind, if the deck revolves around her, you either have to have things to protect you, you have to really think about that. So half your deck is protecting yourself from the obvious attacks because you don't have anything to defend yourself unless you do that. Everything you put in to defend yourself is one less big threat. So if you don't have enough big threats, the deck isn't very interesting. If you don't have enough things to protect yourself, you get overrun. You get steamrolled. So I just got tired of the schizophrenia of a Jora deck and took it apart. But I'm going to put her here. So she is part of the 99, and I think she will be a lot of fun here. She's not my commander. It's just kind of a side effect. So I'm not building my strategy around her. It's just, if I get her in play and I can do some stuff, cool. And then I got this. And it was cheap. It was 7 crowns, which is about a nickel in the US. 5 euro cents. Euro nickel. So what does she do? 6, which is high, for 2/7, which is high toughness. Whenever I cast a spell, I can put it in the bottom of my library, and then reveal cards in the top of my library until I reveal an online card, and then I can cast it for free. Put the rest in the bottom in a random order. Only once per turn. So I've got a bunch of counter spells. I've got a bunch of cheap spells in here. I've got things. Let's say I have 2 mana rocks in play, and I'm going to cast my Arcane Signet. I don't really need it. I already have a Talisman and Thran Dynamo. So put the Talisman, put the Signet on the bottom of my library, and just flip over a card and see what I get. I kind of like that idea. I like the idea of, well, let's just see what I get. Let's see what happens. Maybe it'll be funny. So I'm going to try her out. Maybe I'll get Nekusar, the Ravager. Alright, this bastard. See ya. Yeah, he's a flip card. Alright, so he flies. When he enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. And then for 7, I can flip him. Other than that, he's a 4/4 flyer. But if I flip him, he becomes Nekusar, the Arisen. +2, draw 2 cards. Nope, only when opponent draws a card. But there's somebody else. Neg 3, 10 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Ow! Ooh, that's gonna hurt. Neg 4, I get a creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard. I just snatch it out. Works for me. Neg 12, I'm probably not gonna do that. Exile all but the bottom card of target player's library. I'm probably just going to be having too much fun with the top 3. Of course, first I have to get him, then I have to flip him. Alright, so here's a guy I kept alluding to. Niv-Mizzet the Firemind. Imagine if he has a Basilisk Color. So whenever I draw a card, he deals 1 damage to our creature player, and I gain life. And if I decide to hit a creature, kills it. Death touch. Tap, draw a card. It'd be cool to have the old Ravnica Niv-Mizzet, but those foils are really expensive still. And this guy, he does the same thing. He looks a little more angrier. He doesn't look quite as lost in thought, considering his options. He's like, fuck you, I'm a dragon, I'm going to rip your head off. Rexiel, the Risen Deep. 3 black, blue for a 5/8. I didn't want Swamp Walk. Whenever he smashes somebody, I get to cast an instant or sorcery for free, and then it gets exiled out of the graveyard. Memory Plunder, kind of like Rexiel, except I don't have to hit anybody. I just have to play it and target it, and I get to play an instant or sorcery without paying its mana cost. And at instant speed. So if they have a Damnation, for example, I can target the Damnation at instant speed, cast it, and it stays in the graveyard. So if I get this back, I can do it again. Yay! Psychic Strike. 1 black-blue counter target spell. Its controller mills 2. Liliana, Death's Majesty. And let's go to part 2. Alright, part 2. I've had her for a while. Thought about a few decks to put her into. Didn't quite feel right in some of the decks. Really should put her in Muldrotha. I mean, I really should, but for some reason I didn't. I'm going to see if she works here. Anyway, let's see if she works here. So 3 black for a 5 loyalty planeswalker. +1, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, mill 2. Alright, fine. Neg 3, return any creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. No pay extra life, no sacrifice at the end of the turn, no bounce it back to your hand like that stupid Nahiri ultimate where you go find a permanent, put it in play, and then bounce it back. What the fuck is that? It's stupid. As Cube found out when he played her, and even the genie was like, what kind of ultimate is this? That's bullshit. So Liliana just, neg 3. Creature out of the graveyard, into play. Neg 7, destroy all zombie creatures. Yeah, that could be interesting, but the neg 3, that's cool. We'll try it out. Oh, Nixless, the Hate Twisted. Whenever an opponent draws a card, he just doubles Nekusar. He's just extra Nekusar. This is, he actually was not printed the last time I had this deck. So, previously to double up the Nekusar effect, I used Underworld Dreams, which is otherwise a do-nothing enchantment. All I did is piss my opponents off and make them kill me faster or kill Nekusar or do something. So I've got him, and not only does he do the Underworld Dreams for an extra 2 mana, I can neg 2 him, destroy target creature, and then they draw 2 cards. The controller, not the creature. Creatures can't draw cards. Massacre Worm! 3 6/6 for a 6/5. When he comes to play, creature opponent control get neg 2 until end turn, and whenever a creature and opponent controls it, die! That bastard loses 2 life. Murder Strider. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. You lose 2 life. But then you can put this 2/3 life linking zombie knight into play against the life vac. Neat. Beacon of Unrest. Kind of expect a lot of things to be going to the graveyard in this deck. I expect it to be pretty interesting. I've got some different effects in here that we haven't even touched on, the real bullshit. And I'm looking forward to seeing if it works, or if the idea is not good and I need to completely rethink it. But I'm looking forward to the trial run. Beacon of Unrest. Put target artifact or creature card from any graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and then shuffle this back into your library. Blood Chief Ascension. At the beginning of each end step, if an opponent lost 2 or more life this turn, you may put a quest counter on Blood Chief Ascension. Whenever a card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, if this has 3 or more quest counters, I can drain them for 2. Drain somebody for 2. Drain that opponent. So whoever had the card go in the graveyard, or cards. So if 2 opponents had things go to the graveyards, then I can drain them for each card. Damnation. Bury all creatures. Okay, this deck does have an unrestricted tutor, because there is something I really want to find. I do not have a specific dirty combo in this deck, at least not one that I see now. There have been times when I finished a deck, shuffled it up, started goldfishing, and I realized, well, I have a dirty combo. Do I keep it? Or do I take it out? Do I weaken it? What do I do? But this deck I don't think has any, it's pretty straightforward. Get Nekusar, help people draw cards, not die. So, diminish le master. Go find any card you want out of your library, put it in your hand. Demonic Tutor. If you don't know what it is, it's pretty simple. Languish. All creatures get neg 4 until end turn. Let's clean out the small stuff. No mercy. Whenever a creature deals damage, you destroy it. It would have been nice to have the original foil from, I believe, Invasion? It kind of makes sense. I mean, it's depicting the invasion of Phyrexia into Dominaria. I think this is from Invasion. But those are expensive. And this is pretty close to it. It's really subtle. It's really subtle. The old foils, especially the black ones, it's more purplish. And then the text box is less brown. It's more, it's got more white in it. It's not as richly dark. But this is pretty close to that old foil. And it was cheap. My God, it was cheap. It's so cheap that I don't think it'll ever reach a price where it's worth listing it back. So I'm stuck with it forever. Tezzeret the Seeker. 3 blue blue. +1. Untap up to 2 target artifacts. Or, as it really says, untap your mana rocks. Neg X, go find an artifact with CMC X or less and put it into play. So the reason that's there, if you say X is 3 and you're going through and you're like, wow, I forgot I had this. Well, if it costs less than 3, you can go and pull it out instead of what you were really looking for if you don't know your deck that well, which I've done. I've had Tezzeret up to 5. Okay, I'm going to neg 4 Tezzeret and go find this. Maskwood Nexus, for example. Then I'm going through and I'm like, oh, I forgot this is in the deck. It only costs 2, so I wasted 2 of his loyalty. But it still works. He's still good. Lawan, Cephalid Empress. I have no idea if I really need her or not. This deck, Nekusar, it's basically Phoenix. So I took Phoenix apart because I kind of lost direction with him. I had changed him so much over the years that he no longer had a clear direction. And some of you lads gave me some really good advice on what to do with him, how to look at it. One gentleman in particular said, well, why don't you make the deck about Phoenix? Have cards that mention Phoenix. Have cards that depict Phoenix. Have the deck tell his story. And that's a really good idea. I like that. I just have to look up those cards. So until then, Phoenix has been deconstructed. I still have all of his pieces. And some of these cards are just carryover. So Lawan Cephalid Empress. 3 in a blue for 2/3. When she comes into play, bounce all blue creatures your opponents control their hands. Your opponents can't play blue creature spells. So if they're playing a deck with blue, this would be really good. And with the lads I play with, about half of their decks collectively have blue creatures. The other half don't at all. So she's just a dead card with those. But I still like her. She's still good. Phyrexian Metamorph. 3 and 1 blue or 2 life. Comes in play. It can copy any artifact or creature on the battlefield that you want. Except it's still an artifact. Scrivener. Okay, Archaea Master is kind of overused in my collection. And I had this guy for the art. I like the art. I like that it's an old foil from Odyssey. It costs 1 more than Archaea Master. Archaea Master is 2 colors, blue, blue. He's 4 colorless, 1 blue. So he's easier to cast in this 3-color deck. And otherwise, he's the same. When he comes into play, return an instant. Oh no, he doesn't return a sorcery. Ah, shit. T-Volley. Do I care about returning sorceries? Let me think about him. It's so good to read the cards sometime. But I still love the art. I still think that's cool. I like it. And maybe he'll be just fine. Because maybe I only care about returning instants. Teferi Mage's Zalfir. He's flashy. Other creatures I own are flashy. Each opponent loses all flashiness. For the low price of 2 triple blue for a 3/4 human wizard. Thieving Skydiver. 1 blue kicker X. I'm just putting this here just to be funny to see if she works. Maybe it'll be interesting. If I spend, 3, I can grab somebody's soul ring. If I spend 5, I can grab a sword of this and that. Then just a lot of options with this card. And it's kind of funny. So, Thrix, the Sudden Storm. He's flashy too. So he's a 4 or 5 flashy flying elemental giant. My spells CMC 5 or greater, cost 1 less to cast and can't be countered. Ooh, that could be good. So he would cost 4, but only instants. Tishana Stidebinder. Really should have this in my Modern Merfolk deck, but I only own 3. I've already got the other 2 among different decks. So, and I don't play Modern enough to really need them, so she's not in my Merfolk deck. She's here. She's here to enter the battlefield, counter up to one target activated or triggered ability. And maybe that'll trigger somebody when I counter the triggered ability. If an ability of an artifact, creature, or planeswalker is countered this way, that permanent loses all abilities. So if they have multiple abilities, like a planeswalker, she comes into play. She counters one planeswalker loyalty ability. And then that planeswalker just shut off. It's just dead, the whole thing. That's pretty cool. So she's flashy too. He's flashy. A lot of flashy people in my deck. Venser, Shaper Savant. 2 blue for 2/2. Human wizard. When he comes into play, bounce target spell or permanent back to its owner's hand. Put it back, think about it later. Whirlpool Warrior. 2 and a blue for a 2/2 Merfolk. When she comes into play, I shuffle the cards from my hand into my library, then draw that many cards. So if I have Nev Mizzet out, she's really nasty. And then, 1 red, sacrifice her. Everybody shuffles the cards from in their hand into the library, then draws that many cards. However many they were originally holding. Alright, now just instants and stuff. Alright, so counter spell. Yep, counter target spell. Disallow. Yep, counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. Evacuation. Return all creatures to owner's hands at instant speed. So, if I cast Damnation or Languish, I can't get it back with Scrivener, but I could get back Evacuation. I could get back a counterspell. That's probably enough. This is what I built the deck around. This is why I have the Demonic Tutor to go find it. I think this will be really funny. I'm really looking forward to this. But I hated this card. I hated this card for a long time because I don't want to deal with it. 5 and a blue. Enchantment. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, everybody else copies that spell. Everybody. Each other player. It doesn't matter if they're playing this game or not. The guys in the next table, the guys in the next room, they copy the spell too. Each other player. Okay? It doesn't say in this game. Each of those players may choose new copies for his or her copy. So let me show you some of the funny things that I'm thinking about with Hive Mind. With Hive Mind, counter spells become votes. Let's say I cast something. The genie goes to counter it. The genie memory lapses whatever I'm doing. Cube and Roman are in the game. So genie plays a counter spell, and I'm playing something that isn't a sorcerer instant, some permanent, but he wants to counter it. Cube, Roman, and I all get copies of Genie's counterspell. Obviously, I am going to use my copy to counter the original counterspell. So those two are accounted for. Cube and Roman then can decide if they're going to counter my spell or the Genie's counterspell or the counterspell copy I have. So basically, they get to vote on whether or not the spell resolves. It should be a lot of fun. It should be really interesting. I expect a lot of hate and discontent for it. I'm looking forward to it. And Narcissus Reversal, copy target. So I can copy it, and then they get copies, and then the copies can copy the copies. Oh, and then return to his owner's hand. So I can play something. I can put it back in my hand. And then everybody can copy this. Or I can play something if I have Nissa out. Let me find her again. So we can look at her too. Nira, not Nissa. So Nira, what I can do is I can play something like Time Reversal. So Time Reversal, everybody shuffles their hand, graveyard and library together, and draw 7 cards. Exit of Time Reversal. If I have Nira out and Hive Mind, then what I can do is I can cast Time Reversal. everybody copies time reversal, and then I can take mine and use Nira's ability to put my time reversal that would be exiled on the bottom of my library and go find another card. And then play it if I want to play it. Meanwhile, everybody else with Hive Mind has a time reversal. So everybody else is going to put this ability on the stack. So we shuffle, draw 7, and then we shuffle and draw 7, and then we shuffle and draw 7. So if I have Nekusar Niv Mizzet out, it's going to hurt real bad. That's kind of the the reason that she's in here is for that. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing if this deck works. I think Yuji would be excited to have this deck. Alright, so there's time reversal. There's heuristic study, which maybe I'll take out. Maybe I'll find another instant or sorcery. I want to see how this package works, and then figure out what to do later, how to refine it if it needs any refining. So yeah, whenever an opponent casts a spell, you say, do you pay the 1? Time Spiral, it's exactly like Time Reversal, except it costs 1 more, and you untap up to 6 lands, but it still gets exiled. Unless Nira puts it on the bottom of my library. Trick Bind. Split second. Counter target activated triggered ability. So if I cast this and Hive Mind is in play, then they're not playing spells, they're playing copies. Interesting. Turn aside, counter spell targets a permanent you control. Yep. Dragon Mage. Alright, so if I throw him in the time stream with Joyra, when he comes out, he'll fly over and smack somebody, and everybody will throw away their hand and draw 7 new cards. Or I can just cast Wheel of Fortune. Or I can just cast Winds of Change, and you don't throw away your hand, you just shuffle it back in your library. Right, so that's the deck. And this Exquisite Blood, the reason I wanted Exquisite Blood is, you saw how light he was on creatures. I don't have a lot of creatures. He's doing a lot of damage. If the deck works anywhere close to the way I'm hoping, he should be doing a lot of damage. Niv Mizzet should be doing damage. Does he do damage or does he lose life? Because that's important. Hope it's damage. Loss of life. Oh, loss of life. Okay. Okay. Because that difference can be key. So whenever an opponent loses life, I gain that much life. So Psycho Crawler, Nekusar, and Niv Mizzet all can do multiple points of damage. So if I have this in play, I don't have to have something on a particular creature. And I'm expect to take a lot of hits because I don't have a lot of blockers. So I need ways to get my life total back up and not die. This will help me not die, which is good. So that's the deck. That's Nekusar. Let me know what you think. Do you think it'll work? Or do you think I'm just putting together a bunch of bullshit again and it's going to fall apart and blow up in my face?